The Zerati patrol cruiser Vexlar had been on a routine sweep along the Theros Nebula for nearly 3 cycles when the unidentified contact appeared. At first, it was nothing more than a faint distortion on long-range sensors, barely a whisper of mass and metal in the darkness. But as the nebula's dust thinned, it emerged. A vessel. Massive. Silent. And absolutely unmarked. Captain Dren Varash narrowed his triple-lidded eyes at the image on the holotable. No registry pings. No drive signature. Not even a transponder code. That was impossible. Protocol 12, he ordered, his voice a low rumble. Full spectrum scan. Let's see who's trespassing in our patrol zone. The sensor crew obeyed, directing the Vexlar's high-intensity beams toward the vessel. Thin threads of exotic particles snaked out across the void, probing the alien ship's hull. Data began to trickle back in, then surged. The bridge displays flickered with streams of technical readouts. Hull composition, unknown alloys layered in redundant plating. Energy cores shielded behind triple containment fields. Weapon mounts, dozens of them, most inactive but all operational. The deeper the scan went, the stranger the readings became. Compartments didn't match any known ship architecture. There were empty corridors, arranged like ambush funnels. Rooms lined with automated turrets. Sublevels that didn't exist in the physical layout, yet registered on the scan as present. Lieutenant Zar hissed. Captain. I'm reading encrypted subsystems buried deep in the ship's network. No match in the Galactic Archive. Decrypt them, Varash said. Zar's claws danced over the controls and froze. Sir, it's not just receiving the scan. It's pushing something back. The bridge lights dimmed. Every console spat static before filling with strange symbols. The ship's comms crackled to life, not with Zerati voices, but with dozens of human tongues. Some shouted in rage, others in desperation. Some were screaming. Then came the images. One by one, the bridge crew's personal HUDs lit up with visions that were not theirs, cities burning under alien bombardment, vast space fleets crumbling under sustained fire, and towering armored figures with black visors each bearing a small, bright emblem of a blue and white planet. Cut the scan! Varash barked. No one moved. Their claws trembled on the controls. The voices in the comms were inside their minds now, whispering words in a language none of them had learned yet somehow understood, coordinates. Weapon ranges. Kill counts. The ship's tactical systems lit up without command, pulling firing solutions from the visions. The Zerati crew could feel it, battle instincts flooding into their own neural pathways. Their breathing quickened. Heart rate spiked. The human warship wasn't just showing them data. It was teaching them how to kill. Varash snapped, shut it down. Kill the array. But it was too late. A burst of static rolled through the bridge, and then, silence. The human vessel's lights flared to life, its hull panels shifting subtly as if the ship itself had woken up. A voice came over open comms. Calm. Cold. Perfectly clear. Now you know. Before the Zerati could respond, the massive ship engaged its drives, not the blinding blue-white flare of fusion or the spiral shimmer of hyperfold, but a silent, ripple-like distortion in space. In seconds, it vanished. The Vexlar's crew sat frozen. Their claws still clenched on their consoles, their eyes still seeing things that weren't there. That night, if it could be called night in the lightless patrol corridors, Varash sat alone in his quarters, trying to steady his breathing. He told himself it was only data. Just a machine pushing corrupted signals into his neural feed. But then he remembered the feel of the rifle in his claws, the recoil, the heat, the smell of scorched air, when he had never fired such a weapon in his life. He remembered the certainty that if an enemy ship appeared before him, he would know exactly where to shoot, down to the millimeter. The voices were still there, faint now, but present. Waiting. 2 days later, they docked at the Zerati military outpost on Yelvar Station. The crew underwent mandatory medical scans. Every single one of them showed anomalous neural patterns, enhanced reaction times, heightened threat assessment instincts, and most disturbingly, fragments of foreign memory. The station's medical chief was blunt: "Whatever you contacted, it rewired you." Varash was still in the examination chamber when a quiet alarm began to pulse through the station. In the command deck, the officers were staring at incoming tactical feeds. A human fleet had entered the nebula. Not a single vessel, but dozens. Their drive signatures matched nothing in the galactic records. They weren't broadcasting any hails, any warnings. They were moving in a perfect wedge formation, and directly toward the core worlds of the Zerati Empire. Varash didn't need the tactical feed to know what would happen next. He could see the engagement unfold in his mind before it began. Ships would try to flank, but the humans would feint, draw them into kill funnels. Capital ships would fall in the first 3 minutes. He didn't know how he knew. But he knew. Hours later, the first battle began exactly as he had envisioned. Zerati fleets died in patterns he had foreseen, each engagement ending faster than the last. It wasn't just tactics. The humans seemed to know them, their strategies, their timing, even the split-second delays between orders and action. As if someone had given them an intimate map of the Zerati military mind. And Varash finally understood the purpose of that scan. It hadn't been a defense. It had been reconnaissance. The humans hadn't come to learn about the Vexlar's weapons. They had come to learn about them. And now, the Zerati Empire was going to pay for the moment Captain Dren Varash had said, "Full spectrum scan." When the last Zerati fleet was cornered at the edge of the Theros Nebula, the same voice returned over every open channel. "You saw. You learned. Now you understand." No one survived to answer. The Kelry Pride ships had hunted in these sectors for centuries. They were apex predators, swift, cunning, and feared. When a lone vessel appeared on their long-range scopes, they reacted the way any seasoned hunter would, with anticipation. It drifted through neutral space like a wandering prey beast. A single ship. No escort. No fleet. The Kelry captain, Vrash Kal, clicked his fangs in satisfaction. "Easy meat," he purred to his pride crew. "We shall strip it clean and mount its hull plates in the trophy hall." His hunters roared in approval. As per tradition, before striking, the Kelry would study their prey. Not for mercy was a word they despised, but for efficiency. Knowing the prey's weaknesses was the mark of a true predator. "Begin the scan," Vrash Kal ordered. The pride ship Bloodfang sent out its sensor lances, beams of charged particles sweeping over the alien vessel. The first readings came in, and at first, they seemed disappointingly ordinary. Yes, the hull was thicker than expected, yes, the shields were strong, but nothing they could not pierce. Then the deeper data arrived. The crew's growls grew uncertain. This ship was not ordinary. Its internal layout was a maze, a deliberate labyrinth of choke points and interlocking kill zones. Corridors ended in murder holes. Bulkhead doors had crossfire positions. Even the mess halls were placed so intruders could be funneled into them like a trap. And the weapons. By the Great Claw, the weapons. Automated defense turrets lined every section of the interior. Drones patrolled narrow maintenance shafts. Massive rail batteries were mounted on both sides of the ship, positioned so that even in retreat, the vessel could kill pursuers. Vrash Kal leaned forward, his tail lashing. "This is no prey ship," he murmured. "This is a hunting den." Before his sensor chief could respond, the scan display flashed blood red. The alien vessel's systems had detected the scan. On the bridge of the Bloodfang, the deck lights dimmed. Every targeting array went dark, not malfunctioning, but disabled. A new feed appeared on the central holoscreen. It was an eye. Not a living eye, but a machine's. Cold. Unblinking. Predator's eyes. And then, data poured into the Bloodfang's computers. Not schematics of the alien ship, but schematics of them. Detailed readings of the Bloodfang structure, her shield harmonics, her ammunition stockpiles, even the personal combat profiles of Vrash Kal and his crew. How, his first hunter began, but the captain already knew. The scan had not merely been detected, it had been answered. The alien ship had scanned them back. A deep vibration ran through the Pride ship as their threat board lit up, not with a single target, but with a plotted attack route leading not just to the Bloodfawn, but to the Kelry homeworld itself. Vrashkal stared at the glowing tactical path. It bypassed their outer defenses. It exploited every weak point in their planetary shields. It ended with a single icon flashing over their capital city. "This is a declaration," he growled. They cut the scan instantly. Silence fell on the bridge. The alien vessel did not attack. It did not run. It simply turned slowly, deliberately, until its forward batteries were facing them. And then it began to move, not toward them, but toward Kelry territory. Slow. Steady. The way a predator stalks its prey, not rushing, but choosing the moment. "Follow it," Vrashkal ordered. For 6 cycles, they shadowed the alien ship. It never altered course. Never accelerated. And yet, every time the Bloodfang's crew tried to close the distance, their own systems faltered, shields flickering, weapons refusing to lock. It was as if the alien vessel was playing with them. On the 7th cycle, they crossed into Kelry sovereign space. By then, the Pride ship's morale was fraying. The alien vessel had not fired a single shot, yet every Kelry aboard felt hunted. Conversations were shorter. Tails twitched with nervous energy. They avoided looking at the holoscreen when the eye appeared. That night, Vrashkal dreamed of being hunted through the corridors of his own ship. He ran past familiar halls, only to find them rearranged into the alien vessel's labyrinth. The eye was always there. Watching. Waiting. He woke with his claws extended and his fur damp with cold sweat. On the 9th cycle, the alien vessel vanished from their sensors entirely. No warp signature. No energy trail. Just gone. Relief rippled through the crew until every alarm aboard the Bloodfawn screamed at once. The alien vessel was behind them. No one had seen it arrive. No one had felt the shift in space. But there it was, its forward guns locked onto the Bloodfang's bridge. Vrashkal bared his fangs. Battle stations. The weapons chief snarled, "Shields up." But the command failed. Their shield generators cycled, stuttered, then went offline completely. On the comm channel, a voice spoke in a language none of them had ever heard, yet somehow, they understood every word. "I have measured you. I have seen your teeth. And I am not impressed." The alien ship broke off without firing. It passed them like a shadow, gliding deeper into Kelry space. Vrashkal knew where it was going. The attack route it had shown them was no bluff. By the time the Kelry fleet scrambled to intercept, it would be too late. 3 days later, every military sensor in Kelry space lit up with disaster. The alien vessel struck the capital in the dead of night. No warning. No demands. It bypassed the orbital defenses exactly as predicted. Dropped its rail batteries into low orbit and obliterated the planetary shield generators. In less than an hour, the Pride world lay defenseless. And still, it did not destroy the city. Instead, it broadcast a single, chilling message to the entire Kelry race. "You thought yourselves hunters. You are prey. Remember that." Then it was gone. Vrashkal would spend the rest of his days wondering what would have happened if he had never given the order to scan. But deep down, he knew the truth. The alien ship had never stumbled into their path. It had come looking for them. And in the moment their sensors swept across its hull, they had met its gaze. And the Predator's eyes had gazed back. The Vorthan Confederacy prided itself on knowing every corner of the galaxy it controlled. Their long-range patrols charted every asteroid, scanned every derelict, and catalogued every scrap of wreckage from the wars of centuries past. But the ship they found in the Desari graveyard sector was not in the archives. It appeared on sensors as little more than a cold husk, massive, silent, and seemingly dead. No heat signature. No drive emissions. Not a single active system. Patrol Commander Havok stood on the observation deck of the VCS Nareth, his crest feathers twitching with curiosity. "Put it on the main holo," he ordered. The image appeared an angular, predatory shape, its hull pitted with the scars of ancient battles. No markings identified its origin. It could have been adrift for decades, perhaps centuries. Another relic for the salvage yards, one of his officers muttered. Scan it, HFY said. The Narith's sensor arrays swept over the derelict, bathing it in analysis beams. At first, the results were mundane: heavy armor plating, redundant internal bulkheads, a thick lattice of structural reinforcements. Strange, yes, but not extraordinary. Then the deeper readings began. Ship IDs. Thousands of them. HFY's eyes narrowed as the list scrolled endlessly across the display: names and registry codes from human warships. Most were tagged in the Confederacy's own records as destroyed decades ago, lost during the Galactic War. This can't be, the sensor chief whispered. These ships are gone. Vaporized. We confirmed their destruction. And yet, here they were recorded in the derelict's databanks. The crew pressed the scan deeper, trying to understand the connection. That's when the video logs appeared. Holographic playback filled the bridge with scenes of battle. Human ships under withering fire, their hulls breaking apart, and then, without warning, each vessel vanished. No explosion. No debris. Simply, gone. One by one, they reappeared in different star systems, joining formations around a single massive flagship, the very ship now drifting before them. HFY's feathers prickled. The logs continued, showing fleet engagements that should not exist: human warships striking enemy targets decades after they were declared lost. This is impossible, HFY muttered. The scan feed jittered, flickered, then the bridge went dark for a heartbeat. When the displays returned, the derelict was no longer dark. Its hull lights were glowing a deep, steady red. And the comm channel crackled to life. A voice spoke, flat, cold, human. You've seen too much. Before HFY could respond, proximity alarms screamed. The Narith's scanners lit up with contacts. Dozens. No, hundreds. Ships were materializing around them, without any detectable drive signatures. Their designs matched the registry codes they'd just seen in the logs: human ships thought to be long destroyed. A ghost fleet. The Confederacy crew scrambled to bring shields online, but their systems were already failing: weapon targeting scrambled, comms jammed, even life support controls locked behind foreign encryption. HFY's mind raced. Break the scan. Power down all sensors. Too late. The derelict, no, the flagship, had already moved. Slowly, with a predator's calm, it drifted closer, flanked by two colossal dreadnoughts. Its weapons systems came online, glowing with energy signatures older than any technology the Confederacy recognized. This isn't a derelict, HFY said quietly. It's a trap. The human voice returned. We were erased from your records. We were ghosts to your historians. But ghosts can still kill. With a single signal burst, the fleet surrounded the Narith in a perfect kill box. Not a single weapon fired. Instead, every console aboard the Vorthan shiplet with navigational data, a set of coordinates deep within Confederacy space. The message was clear. This was not a random encounter. This was a warning. The human fleet moved as one, vanishing from the Narith's sensors as quickly as they'd appeared. Only the flagship lingered, its red running lights burning like embers. HFY hesitated, his instincts warring between retreat and confrontation. But before he could choose, the ship's lights winked out. The flagship was gone. Back at Confederacy High Command, HFY's report was met with disbelief and fear in equal measure. The data he brought was studied, dissected, and ultimately suppressed. The Council declared the encounter classified at the highest level. Officially, one admiral told him, this ghost fleet does not exist. But HFY knew better. They hadn't been destroyed in the war. They had simply gone somewhere else. Waiting. 2 months later, the ghost fleet struck. Confederacy border worlds reported human warships materializing inside their defense perimeters without triggering any early warning systems. Entire fleets were annihilated before they could raise shields. In each attack, the humans followed the same pattern: strike, vanish, and leave no survivors. And always, at the edge of every battle, the flagship loomed, watching. Havoc was reassigned to border defense. He told himself he was ready. That when the Ghost Fleet came for his sector, he would find a way to counter them. That illusion lasted exactly 11 minutes into the attack. His ships died in silence, no incoming fire visible, just instant destruction as hulls ruptured under impossible impacts. His crews fought bravely, but the enemy was everywhere at once. The flagship passed so close to the Nareth that Havoc could see its hull markings and detail old scars, repaired with mismatched alloys from countless battlefields. The sane human voice spoke one last time. "We warned you. But you kept scanning the dark." The rest was silence. When the wreckage of the Nareth was found drifting days later, its databanks were empty. No logs. No records of the battle. Just a single file, playing on repeat. A visual of the Ghost Fleet forming up around their flagship. And beneath it, a message in stark, simple text. "We are not gone. We are waiting."